The crying doll. Rain hammered against the windows as Daniel and his wife, Sarah, moved into Blackwood Manor, an old countryside house they had bought for a surprisingly low price. "It just needs a little fixing," Daniel said with a smile. Sarah wasn't convinced. The house felt wrong. Every room echoed strangely, and the silence between the thunder sounded almost alive. While cleaning the dusty attic, Sarah found an old porcelain doll sitting alone in a wooden rocking chair. It wore a faded blue dress. Its glass eyes looked unusually realistic. Most disturbing of all, tiny dried tear marks stained its pale cheeks. A small tag hung around its neck. It simply read, "Please don't make her cry again." Sarah laughed nervously. "It's just an old toy." She brought it downstairs and placed it on a shelf in the living room. That night, strange sounds echoed through the house. Not footsteps, not whispers. A little girl crying, very softly, almost as if she were hiding somewhere inside the walls. Daniel searched every room. Nothing. The crying stopped. The next morning, the doll was no longer on the shelf. It was sitting at the end of the hallway. Sarah blamed Daniel. Daniel blamed Sarah. Neither admitted moving it. They returned it to the shelf. That night, the crying returned. Louder, longer. This time it sounded like someone begging, "Please, don't leave me alone." Sarah opened every bedroom. No one. The doll had vanished again. It was now sitting outside their bedroom door. Its porcelain face seemed wet. Fresh tears rolled slowly down its cheeks. Sarah screamed. Daniel grabbed the doll and locked it inside a cupboard. When they checked the next morning, the cupboard was still locked, but the doll was sitting peacefully on the dining table. Days passed. The crying happened every midnight, always for exactly 7 minutes. Then complete silence. Neither of them slept anymore. One evening, Sarah noticed something unusual. Every photograph in the house had changed. Tiny reflections showed a little girl standing behind them, even though she hadn't been there when the pictures were taken. Daniel looked closer. In every reflection, the girl was holding the doll. They visited the nearest village. An old woman running the local store froze when she saw the doll. "You brought Emily home." Sarah frowned. Who was Emily? The old woman's face turned pale. 40 years ago, a little girl named Emily disappeared inside that house. Her parents searched for weeks. They only found her favorite doll, and every family that kept it heard a child crying. Daniel asked quietly, "What happened to Emily?" The old woman whispered, "No one ever found her body. But people say the house never let her leave." That night, Daniel decided enough was enough. He placed the doll in the fireplace. He lit the fire. The flames swallowed the doll. The crying suddenly became deafening. The lights exploded. Every door slammed shut. The entire house shook violently. Then, silence. The fire went out by itself. The doll remained untouched. Not even a burn mark. Instead, one sentence appeared on the wall in dripping black letters. "She is still looking for me." Sarah wanted to leave immediately. Daniel packed the car. As they drove away, the crying continued. Not from the house. From inside the trunk. Daniel stopped the car. Opened it. Nothing. Only the doll, sitting upright, looking directly at him. Terrified, they delivered the doll to a museum specializing in haunted objects. The curator smiled confidently. "We've dealt with stranger things." He locked the doll inside a reinforced glass display. For the first time in days, the crying stopped. Daniel and Sarah finally relaxed. Until 3 days later, the museum burned down overnight. Every artifact was destroyed, except one, the crying doll. Police found it sitting perfectly clean outside the ruins. No fingerprints, no damage. The museum's security cameras recorded only one thing. At exactly 12:07 a.m., every camera captured a little girl walking through empty hallways, holding someone's hand, but the person beside her was invisible. Months passed. Daniel and Sarah tried rebuilding their lives. One rainy evening, Sarah received an anonymous package. Inside was the doll. No return address. No note. Only a new tag around its neck. She found another family. That night, the crying didn't come from the doll. It came from the empty bedroom upstairs. Sarah slowly climbed the stairs. The crying stopped. The bedroom door creaked open. The room was empty. except for muddy footprints leading beneath the bed. Daniel lifted the blanket. Nothing. Then they heard a tiny voice behind them. "Thank you for bringing her home." Both turned. The doll was standing in the doorway. Standing, not sitting. Its lips slowly moved. "Now, she doesn't need me anymore." The doll fell to the floor, shattering into hundreds of pieces. The crying stopped forever. Daniel sighed in relief. "It's finally over." Sarah nodded. They left the room. Neither noticed one tiny porcelain eye roll beneath the wardrobe. Watching. Waiting. A year later, a family moved into another old house hundreds of miles away. While unpacking boxes, their little daughter ran upstairs. "Mom, someone left me a beautiful doll." She carried a brand new porcelain doll downstairs. It wasn't broken. It wore a clean blue dress.